If you like witnessing history in person, there's a place not too far from home that you definitely should consider visiting in the near future. Let's talk about this museum and when did it first become into existence?
Well, the building itself was the post office, and it was first used March the 1st, 1915. But the Historical Society has been here since 1998, so this is our 20th year.
So when you come inside, it's so much history to see here, but right behind you, let's talk about what's directly behind you.
Directly behind me is the dark-fired tobacco exhibit, and the picture of the old sign is probably one of the pictures that most people want to talk about because it was over the old Greenbrier Pike when people came into Springfield, and it was lighted up at night, and they still love that memory.
How important has tobacco farms been to this county through the years, would you say?
We had two main things when Springfield was a booming town. One was dark-fired tobacco, and one, of course, was the whiskey distilleries.
Speaking of that, I think you're segueing into another segment of the museum, aren't you?
Yes, I am. We had over 75 legal distilleries in 1900. But in 1902, Robertson County voted itself dry. Why? Because of the saloons that were around, and the women got together and they voted against the saloons being open. So we became dry in 1902.
And what do you have here in the museum that signifies that era?
We have several whiskey jugs, and they have the names of some of the major distilleries at that time. And we have a big keg. In Robertson County, we had one place where the whiskey barrels were made. A person who makes a barrel is a cooper, and that little town changed its name from Knaves Crossroads to Coopertown, and Coopertown still exists and is booming in its own right now.
Also, let's talk about a few other things in here. One, I'm seeing a miniature scale of a church.
That would be St. Michael's Catholic Church. They just celebrated their 175th anniversary in October. It's the longest continuing Catholic church in Tennessee. And the model that we have was made by one of the members who carefully put everything together, popsicle sticks and wire and whatever he could find to make a replica of the church, and it is on display here.
How cool. Also, you have clothing from, I think you told me, the 1940s, is that right?
We have a winter coat from the 1940s, and we have a little girl's winter coat from probably the late 1940s, early 1950s, a coat with a hat and leggings. And a lot of people don't remember leggings, but we have them on display here.
And parts of an old theater, too, is that right?
Yes, that would be the Princess Theater. Across the square was the Princess Theater that started as a silent movie venue. Eventually it became a regular movie venue, but it was in competition with what became the Springfield Cinema. It closed down and one business after another went in there. This one wanted plywood, that one wanted painting, another one wanted the ceiling Lord. And eventually Mr. Ed Hood bought it. When all of that was ripped out for renovation, we found in the balcony area all sorts of beautiful plaster works, and we were able to save many of those.
And then you also have, as we continue to walk around, a Victorian room. Talk about that room. I think you have some really interesting items in there too, don't you?
We do have some interesting items in there. We have two chairs and a settee that came from the estate of Joseph Wellington Burns, who was Speaker of the House of Representatives under Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And Joe Burns was born in a small house near where Joe Burns High School is located today. We also have a big painting of Judge W. Pepper. Judge Pepper started out as a blacksmith and studied law at night and eventually became a politician in Nashville. One of his good friends had started out as a tailor, and had made it to become a politician in Nashville. Judge Pepper made that friend a hearth set, and the friend made Judge Pepper a coat. And that friend turned out to be Andrew Johnson, who became President of the United States.
From our state.
From our state, yeah.
Also, there's a big organ in there, really old, right?
Yes, it came from one of the Washington family churches and was given to the Episcopal Church here in Springfield and eventually to the museum.
Also on this floor, I've noticed that you have like an old schoolroom setting and also, I guess, an area dedicated to your courthouse area.
Yes, it sort of takes a look around the square and what you can see from the past, and if you should go into the bell tower, what the buildings below would look like.
Do you guys get a lot of questions about the Bell Witch?
Yes, we do. We have some books on sale in the gift shop, but usually I direct people to the museum in Adams.
Good idea. Also, in this building, you have, I noticed, a dedicated area towards, I guess, Springfield High School sports teams. Is that right?
Yes, we use that for that. I have just taken down a display of the Tobacco Bowl in 1967, and I'm in the process of putting up a display about the girls' basketball team in 1968, and that should be completed by the end of this week.
And also, you said there's a basement in the building here. What can visitors expect to see downstairs?
We have many, many agricultural items, from tobacco warehouses, from times when hog killing was one of the events of the winter season, and so on. We have a military section with Civil War items, a Vietnam display, World War II. We have probably every war except the Korean War really well represented. We have a model of a B-24 that a man made because he had flown a B-24 during World War II. We also have Main Street. You walk on a little wooden sidewalk and you see different businesses that might have been located here in the past.
Sounds like a pretty cool adventure that you guys have here each and every day. Do you enjoy working this job each and every time you come here?
This is my second career. I taught school for 42 years, retired, and came right up here to work. And I have learned more working here than anything I could ever imagine.
If you would like to visit the Robertson County History Museum, it's located just off the Springfield Square at 124 West 6th Avenue. There is a small admission charge. Reporting from Robertson County, Barry Hiett, NCTV.